Hello. Cross elasticity of demand. We can't look at price elasticity of demand and income elasticity of demand and leave out cross elasticity of demand. Cross elasticity of demand is defined as a measurement of the responsiveness of demand for one good when there is a change in the price of another good. And that matters, of course, because many goods, our demand for them is affected by changes in the price of other goods because they may be a substitute or a complement good. For instance, if I like to play tennis, my demand for tennis balls may be affected by a change in the price of tennis rackets or a change in the price of footballs as an alternative, and so on. So certainly on the A level, paper 1, module 1, how markets work, this comes up quite a lot, and it's a useful thing to remember that our demand for goods is very much affected by the availability and the price of alternative goods in alternative micro markets. So let's go through this. The equation is quite easy. You might think it's difficult, but it's actually quite easy if you know the PED one, because the cross elasticity of demand for good A with respect to B. So it's already looking complicated, but believe me, it isn't. What that means is we're going to measure how responsive is the demand for good A when B changes price. A is the subject of this study. Okay? A, how does its demand change when B changes price? Nothing else is changing. A's price is not changing. Income is not changing. Ceteris paribus, we are just looking at the change in the price of B. Equals, how do we calculate it? Well, it's the old equation, P over Q times change in Q over change in P. But of course, it's the price of good B and the quantities of good A. Okay. Let's work with an example. Let's imagine that A is Coke, Coca-Cola, okay, just put Coke. B is Pepsi. Now, we're going to measure what happens to the demand for Coke when Pepsi changes price. And let's imagine that this was done and we found some research and we found, let's keep it simple, we found that when the price of Pepsi the quantity of Coke, well, when the price of Pepsi went from 1 to 2, the quantity of Coke bought went from 1,000 to 1,500. Okay, let's work with that. Let's put that into our equation. And we have the price of B. So the price of Pepsi was originally 1, and the quantity of Coke being bought was originally 1,000, times change in quantity, 500, divided by change in the price, which is 1. It went up by 1. And if you work that out, it's 500 over 1,000. It comes out to a half. And it's plus a half. Well, just like with income elasticity of demand, it's really important that you take your value and you look at the sign and the size. Let me make some room again. So we've got this plus a half. Sign, is it plus, is it minus? We know that a plus value on cross elasticity of demand denotes that these goods are substitutes. Now, we might have expected Coke and Pepsi to be substitutes, but we couldn't be sure of it until we analysed the data. And the fact is that when the price of Pepsi goes up, probably there's reduced quantity demand for Pepsi. We're not looking at that. But we see that the rise in price of Pepsi has caused people to buy Coke. Probably what's happening is people are saying, oh, Pepsi's really expensive, don't want to buy Pepsi, I'll go and buy a Coke instead. But we can't be sure of what's going through people's minds, but we can look at the numbers and we can say when the price of Pepsi fell, there was an increase in the quantity demanded, increasing the demand, of Coke, and it was positive and they are substitutes. If it came out negative, we'd have to conclude that the two goods being studied are complements. Now, the number, that's the size, in this case it's a half. Size, with other elasticities, bigger or smaller than 1 is really important. Here we just say, how big is the number? Half is a medium size, quite a strong relationship. You see, the size of the number tells us about the strength of the relationship. The bigger the number, whether it's plus or minus, the bigger the number, the closer the relationship, be it substitute or complement, between the goods. And the smaller the number, the closer to 0, the weaker is that substitute relationship or that complement relationship. So if we were studying the cross-elasticity of demand between carrots and computers, we'd probably find that XED equals 0, no relationship between those goods. A change in the price of carrots doesn't affect our demand for computers. Okay, so like income elasticity of demand, very important you look at sign and size. Size, we just have to ask kind of how far from 0. The further from 0, strong relationship. Near 0, weak relationship. Okay, so there we are. I think that's it. I think I've used enough time. Okay, thanks for watching. Please send me your comments on all the videos. It keeps me going, and tell me what you want to see, because I'm running out of ideas. All right, bye-bye.